Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Greetings to all of you. Thank you to those of you who have been consistently joining us in this series. We are extremely grateful for the time that you committed to this show. As I keep saying, we are doing this program primarily to engage in a conversation with South Sudanese and to build awareness in our country about the challenges that South Sudan face. This is a country that we dearly love. Many of us have struggled to see independent South Sudan. A lot of people have been engaged in the process since the War of the Liberation. Many of us were involved in the implementation of the CPA, and then we ultimately voted in the referendum to create the Republic of South Sudan. All of that work was not for nothing. The objective was, of course, to lay the foundation for a free society that would be progressive, society that would reward the people of South Sudan, so that they themselves can be empowered, so that they themselves may be able to find prosperity, lasting peace, and build a sense of self-worth and dignity in their own land. That is why our people struggle for so many years. We endure so many hardships so that we could create this country. And after we created this country in 2011, many of us have found ourselves in a nightmare that has no ending. We have been dealing with a very corrupt, brutal regime, a regime that knows nothing at all about what the people of South Sudan aspire to. We have been subjected to violence, to torture, to killing, to endless corruption, where the entire state machinery exists for the purpose of corruption. What we see now in South Sudan is the politics of martographism. As I explained to you last time, martographism has nothing or reference whatsoever to Warab state. This is a politics of the belly, as French political scientist Jean-Francois Bayat has termed it. This is a politics of individuals that only aspire to fill their bellies with food and looted items. This is what we, as people of South Sudan, have been subjected to. So we have a right to fight back and to challenge this regime and to demand that we have a better system and that there is a better future for South Sudanese people, a future that will be worthy of the sacrifice of our martyrs and the aspirations of our children. So I'm grateful to those of you that have been tuning in and that have been engaging in this series. It's not just simply about watching the video, it's also about engaging in the conversation. You can engage directly here by making comments. There are individuals that are also making their own videos. We encourage this very much because we want the conversation to reach every single corner of South Sudan. We want you also to discuss this in your own house, at the dinner table, with your family, with your relatives, with your clan, with your friends. Talk about some of these issues and see also what they think. Because a nation cannot be built by one individual. A nation requires the collective, it requires the people. And that is why the Constitution always starts with we the people, because it is we the people that can build a better future for our country. So my people, make sure that your voices are heard. What Salva Kiir is doing in Juba is to make sure that you people of South Sudan are not able to express the rewards of our struggle. We fought so that we may have freedom to speak our mind, whatever we think, whatever we believe can improve this country. We didn't fight so that we can be turned to psychopaths, the way that the entire SPLM has been turned into psychopaths. We are a free people, we are dignified people. All our families are dignified. A lot of great men have died for us to be where we are today. So we stand on their shoulders, and on these shoulders, we cannot be intimidated. So please, my people, share the video as much as you can. Share it on your wall if you can. Share it on WhatsApp with the WhatsApp groups. Share it with Messenger. Send it to all the people that you know, whether they agree with us or don't disagree or don't agree with us. That's fine. We have been following comments, and we are pleased that we have a lot of people that are commenting and that are participating in this program. We want them to be educated because a lot of them have been blinded by tribalism, by regionalism, by clanism, and by food. because simply they have access to food in Juba. They think that is everything. Jesus Christ has said long ago that a man cannot live on bread alone. So we as people of South Sudan, we cannot live only on food alone. We must also live in the spirit. And that is the spirit of freedom, the spirit of liberty, and a spirit of dignity. This is what we deserve. This is what we will continue to demand, no matter what anyone does. We cannot be intimidated. Different generations of colonialists have tried. Go in our history, and you will find, right from the Turks, when they first came to our country, they couldn't intimidate us. With bows and arrows and with spears, we fought against them, and we chased them out of our country. Then the British came, and it was the same thing again. We faced them with bows, arrows, and spears, and we chased them out of the country. And then came the Jalaba. And with the Jalaba, we fought a long struggle. We had to use everything, not just only bows and arrows and spears. We had to also use AK-47s and all the different guns, Dr. Ryuk, RPG, PCAM, and we managed to get rid of them. And now there has this matograbism that has been created by Salva Kiir. We are not going to give up. We will make sure that we defeat them and we create a free society, because that is what South Sudan is. South Sudan is a free nation. South Sudanese people are freed people. They're dignified people. They cannot be oppressed by anyone, regardless of who this person is. And although people use all kinds of divisions, I say to you, young people of South Sudan, this regime doesn't care about you. You cannot say, me, I am from Awanechan, or I'm from Gogrial, or I'm from Werap, or I'm from Bargazal, or I'm Dinka. It doesn't matter. This regime doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about you. All it does is use you as a tool to keep themselves in power, so that Salva Kiir and his family can continue to enrich themselves. That is why his family are the one controlling all the contracts. Adud is the one collecting taxes at the airport. She's also the one that is collecting all the non-oil revenues that are entering the country. And she decides how much to keep with her father and how much to give to the government of South Sudan. Every single child of Salva Kiir is in the market. And what is surprising about this, my people, they receive money. If you look in the presidency, there is a special budget that is allocated to the president for the maintenance of the president and his family. And then at the national security, the ISB, every month, the Internal Security Bureau of National Security Service gives $100,000 to the president, to the family of President Kiir for the upkeep. Then the General Intelligence Bureau, this is the external security, they give $100,000 every month to the family of Salva Kiir for the upkeep. And then the CID of the police, the Criminal Investigation Bureau department, they give $100,000 every single month to the family of Salva Kiir. And then the military intelligence, every single month they give $100,000 to the family of Salva Kiir. Just from those departments alone, that is $500,000 every single month. And then the more money from the president family, directly from the office of the president, for the maintenance of J1, the houses in Nairobi, everything. And that is not enough for them. All the kids are running mad in the market, running after money, squeezing every single resource that they could get out of the country. It's very shameful, and it's something that we should condemn, because it's something that we have never seen in the history of any nation in the world. So my people, let us not be intimidated at all. We have to speak the truth, because there is nothing that will set this country free except the truth. So whoever is talking nonsense, is their right. Let them talk. Let them talk whatever nonsense that they want. But what is shameful is when you have an entire family in the market, is squeezing resources and subjecting the rest of the country to poverty, engaging in grand corruption. This is absolutely pathetic, and it's something that we as people must condemn, and we call attention to this. And this is why you as people of South Sudan cannot at all stand for these people, because everything that they represent is antithetical to who we are as South Sudanese people. We are dignified people, we are honest people, we are not corrupt, greedy individuals that is represented by Salva Kiir and everything that he stands for. So that we must always condemn. So again, as I said, Please share the video as much as you can, and make sure other people are joining the conversation. Also make comments. If you can, later on, make your own video, engage in conversation, speak in whatever language that you can speak. We want to make sure that the people of South Sudan are informed and the people of South Sudan are engaging in conversation. It's time we confront each other. We cannot allow the entire country to be subjected to poverty. Look at what has happened over the last 12 years of independence. Poverty rate has gone from 50% to more than 90%. Currency has lost 99% of its value. At the same time, if you look at the political freedoms, right now you cannot speak your mind in Juba. And this is why you see even those of us that are outside of the country engaging online, we are being intimidated. People are making all kinds of stupid threats against us and people that we love. It just shows how much this country has been destroyed by one individual with nothing in his head except the cowboy hat. So we, people of South Sudan, we must continue to speak up. We have to make sure that we confront this leadership and this psychopathy in Juba and make sure that we liberate this country the same way that our people struggle so much for it. So thank you very much, and please continue. Make your comments, whether you agree with us or not, whether you are a Matograp or you are a true patriot, please engage in that conversation. Imagine now the dollar is at $123,000, 123,000 pounds. Yeah? Imagine, that is the country we are in. So this is completely unacceptable, and no matter who tells you that you are okay, you are better off, this is a complete nonsense, and we have to make sure that we as people of South Sudan reject this. So thank you, my people. Engage in a conversation. Let's talk. Let nobody use tribalism or regionalism or clanism. I have been to Akun. I went there, by the way, and there was no drinking water. Women have to walk for hours to go and fetch water. This is the village of Salva Kiir. There's no water in it. I end up getting sick from drinking water that is collected from nearby rivers, dirty water. And the guy has built mansions in Morocco, in Ethiopia, in Kenya, in Dubai, in Malaysia. Some of these are like palaces, and he has built nothing in his own area. This is somebody who is a foreign agent, doesn't believe in the Republic of South Sudan, doesn't love the Republic of South Sudan. He only loves himself and his stomach. And this is the same thing that he has passed on to his children who are looting the country dry. We must stand against this, and we must reject this completely. This is not the South Sudan we fought for. So please, my people, let us be engaged. Let us not accept anybody to come and intimidate us. And let nobody threaten us also. At the end of the day, all of us are made with flesh and blood. If they shoot me today, yes, they can kill me. But if I shoot somebody, believe me, somebody is going to be dead. So nobody can threaten us because nobody is made of metal. We are all made of flesh and blood. And all of us can be killed, and we can also kill. That is something that everybody must understand. So today, we are going to talk about the National Security Service and how they manipulate the currency, the South Sudanese pounds and the US dollars that are coming in through the sale of the oil revenues, and also how they engage in the manipulation of the goods market. And altogether, the objective is to show how the National Security Service is engaging in grand corruption for the sole purpose of enriching Akol and President Kiir. Now, let me start by saying, first of all, I work in this institution, National Security. I call myself one of the founders of it because I was there from the very beginning. We built the structures. We did the white paper, even the so-called National Security Act that ended up being perverted. The initial draft that was much more democratic, I was part of the committee that drafted it. So I've been part of this institution from the very beginning. And I have to say, from the very beginning, onset of this series today, that it was intended to be a good institution. But because of President Kiir's short-sightedness, basically wanting to remain in power, wanting to enrich himself, and then also Akol own perversion, thinking that by being loyal to Salva Kiir rather than South Sudan, that this was the way for him to ascend to the helm of power. This institution ended up being corrupted. But it doesn't mean that this institution is made up of bad people. There are a lot of good people in it. A lot of good people. So it's very important that I make that distinction. Not everybody is as perverse as Akol Koor is in the national security. There are a lot of very good people there that are trying day and night to reform the institution. But the problem is at the top of the national security are these old school guys that with nothing in their heads. They don't even understand the concept of intelligence. They don't even understand what it means by national security. They have no understanding of whose security is being provided. For them, all they know is regime security, protecting Salva Kiir and enriching themselves. So there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the national security that would want to work for a better South Sudan, but are being used to destroy South Sudan and to create corruption and to suppress the people of South Sudan, to kill them, to take away their freedoms. And because the institution has been militarized, and there is, by the way, nothing in the Constitution that say that this must be a military institution. You know, most intelligence agencies in the world are actually not militarized. You know, they are civilian-led. Yes, there are covert operations that they conduct that may involve an element of military, but it's not everything that is militarized, the way that it has been in South Sudan. And that was done deliberately, so that there is no sense of collective decision-making. And people are given orders to carry out tasks that are unconstitutional and that are unlawful. So you, as my people, I need to make that very clear. What we are going to talk, national security, by the way, have about 11 different divisions, right? So there's a lot of divisions. These divisions, they report directly to the Director General. And obviously under the Director General, you have the Deputy Director General. But these divisions, they report directly to the Director Generals. They are headed most of the time by either Major Generals or Brigadier Generals. The focus of our discussion today is going to be primarily two main divisions and a company. You know, this is a style that the South Sudanese government adopted from Khartoum, and Khartoum adopted this from Egypt. If you know, Egypt is a country that is run by the military. All the companies in Egypt, most of the companies in Egypt, are controlled by the army. You know, and it's one of the reasons why Egyptian economy has not been growing for so long. That is why you see that Egypt has been struggling, lagging behind all of its Arab neighbors. Countries that were way backward before has now come. They have advanced beyond Egypt, and it's because the military controlled the economy. And because of that, you don't have really a truly competitive market that is taking place. Market is controlled. Individuals are given contracts. They're given preferential treatments. And whenever you have a preferential treatment in a private sector, it is disruptive. It stifles competition. It perverts the preferences and the interests of the people. So that is the model that was adopted. So one of the things that the national security has done is to create a company called Sudd Operating Company. Right? This Sudd company, is entirely owned by the NSS. And what it does is it controls a host of other companies that engage across the broad sector of the economy. You find them in anything, right? Oil companies. You have like there's a Sudd oil company owned by the NSS. You find them in gold mining. In fact, the company that Adud owned, which is engaging in mining, is partly owned jointly with the National Security Service. You know, National Security Service provide the protection, the personnel, or people that are actually engaging in the mining. It is engaging in timber. So those of you from Eastern Equatoria, around Nimile, around Parajok, Panyikwang, you know that there's a lot of logging that is taking place. NSS own those things. They're engaging in charcoals. You know, they make charcoals outside Juba. You see now outside Juba, the country is being turned into a desert. The trees are being cut down, and there's a huge competition between the regular soldiers that are trying to feed themselves and their families, and the NSS that is also cutting all of this and is selling them. They are engaged in trading, basic trading, import-export. And by the way, what they do, when they bring things outside of the country, they are not taxed. They don't pay any taxes at the border. They get tax exemption from the Ministry of Finance because they are the NSS. They write to the Ministry of Finance, they're given tax exemption. So they have that company. And through this company, they basically have control the entire market of South Sudan. There is no one that can engage in any economic activity in South Sudan without dealing with the NSS. And it's one of the reasons why you see every once in a while they 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 uh, they arrest these Darfuris that are engaging in the market, and they send them to Blue House. Sometimes they deliberately target them as a way of reducing competition against themselves or anyone else that is engaging in South Sudan. They own hotels. They engage everywhere in every single hotel. You know very well in South Sudan, every single hotel in the country, there is a room that is reserved for the National Security Service. And they don't pay anything, not even a dime. And whoever they put there can eat food without anything, without paying. They can just consume. So if you are a hotel owner in South Sudan, you must reserve a room. That room belongs to the national security. They put in, sometimes they put in a family. A whole family can be living in there. And they have free room and board. They eat your food and they don't pay anything. So in a sense, national security is actually being subsidized by the businesses that are operating in South Sudan. So this company also have its own businesses. They're in everything. They have restaurants, whatever. This is a company that is owned by the National Security Service. And through this company, they directly control the market. They manipulate the market goes up. So that is one aspect of the grand corruption in which the NSS is engaging in the country. But where I really want to focus are two divisions of the national security. The first division is what is called the Petroleum Division. In NSS, majority of the forces are actually controlled by the Operation Division. This is the division with a lot of forces. But because they have a Petroleum Division, and this Petroleum Division, its primary task is to protect the oil companies and the oil fields. So they have soldiers that were under the command of the Operation Division, but that have now been transferred to work for the Petroleum Division. And they are deployed both within Juba and in the oil fields where the oil companies are operating. So these companies, this division, it has about 9,500. Now, with the agreement with the oil companies, oil companies, when they are operating in South Sudan, there is what is called the cost part of the production. This is the amount of money that the oil companies spend to extract the oil out of the ground and get it out, right? That part is obviously subsidized heavily and is waived off in the overall sharing of the revenue between the oil companies and with the government of South Sudan. And the oil companies here give contracts out for certain services that are provided related to the production, to the cost aspect of the oil productivity. Obviously, you have to get technologies, you need to get equipment, and some of these things are service, so they have companies, and this is another thing. There are private companies that are operating in Bentiu and in Upper Nile that engage in maintenance, engage in preparing the equipment and whatever, which are also owned by the national security, okay? But overall, there is this cost part of the oil. This actually is substantial. This is where a lot of corruption is taking place. And among the costs, one of the major costs that the oil companies must pay is security. So instead of just getting a private security to come and provide security for the oil companies that are engaged in the oil production, this has been given out to the National Security Service. And national security has, especially the Petroleum Division, has roughly about 9,500 personnel that are deployed in the oil fields to provide security for the oil companies. Now, according to the actual contract, on average, every one of these soldiers is supposed to be paid about $500 per month. $500 per month. My people calculate with the current rate of 123,000. I'm going to pull out my calculator here, right? You have $500 times 123. This is a substantial amount of money. It's supposed to be $615,000 per month. This is technically what every single soldier is entitled to based on the existing contracts. But what does the national security actually pay them on average per month? I think last time when the presidency said that they have increased their salary by 400%, this brought up the overall salary of every single soldier to about $36,000. I mean, 36,000 pounds. This is what every single soldier is given. If you divide this by the current rate of market, this is actually about $29. So instead of them getting $500 per month, and by the way, you national security soldiers, I want you to listen to this properly. Those of you who are, especially those of you who are deployed in the oil fields. Instead of you getting $500 every single month, which is what is in the contract, you are being paid when the salary comes. And I know the salary has not come since July. But when it comes, you are being paid $29. $29 at best. Okay? So through these schemes alone, from what the national security make, if you take the number of 9,500 people, multiply by 500, national security is making $4,750,000 every single month. And how much money it is paying to the soldiers? About $240,000. So if you subtract 240,000, on average, every single month, national security is making $4.5 million profit. And this is the money that is supposed to go into the pockets of the soldiers. Pockets of the soldiers. You are supposed to get 500, if you work in the petroleum division, deployed to the oil field. Because why? First of all, the way in which the oil in South Sudan is exploited, they are using old school Chinese technologies where the water is pumped to the ground and then hot water is pumped to the ground and then it goes then and bring the oil out. And then this waste is dumped everywhere. So for you to be deployed there just for 1 year alone, you are likely to be exposed to toxic waste that may have detrimental effect on your health. You may come back with cancer, skin disease, all kinds of respiratory diseases, things that could easily kill you very soon. And the oil companies understand that. That is why in the contract, each one of you is supposed to make $500. This is for a private. If you are an officer, if you are an officer, in fact, the top paid officer is supposed to make $10,000 per month. These are the major general. How much do you make? Where is this money going? You should ask Akol Koor. This is the number one manipulation that happens, right? You are entitled to this money. The oil companies are paying since independence. The oil companies are paying this money. $500 per soldier per month. You are getting less. If you are lucky, 30. In fact, most people on real sense, you are getting less than $10 per month. Less than $10 per month when you're supposed to get 500. And this is the government that you are endangering your life for. This is the government that you're endangering your life for. And it's not just because you will be shot. It's because by being stationed in the oil field, you are being exposed to toxic waste. I met people that have come from Paluch and that have come from Tarjas that have been suffering. Some guys even, they could not manage to produce children. When they shoot, the bullets, are blank or they shoot only water. Mafi haja fogo. And this is what you are exposed to. And the money that you are entitled to, which is your right, based on the contract that the oil companies have signed, you are not getting it. It's being pocketed by Akol Koor, and Akol Koor is giving a cut to Salva Kiir Mayadit. This is what is happening in the petroleum. So if you are a soldier in the petroleum division, you need to start asking questions. You need to start asking questions. Where is your money? This is what you are entitled to. You are not supposed to beg. Oil companies are paying it. You are supposed to get it. You are not getting it. Where is it going? They're using this money to enrich themselves. Primarily the DG, Akol and Salva Kiir. These are the guys that are eating that money. Let that be very clear. And the documents are there. Documents are there. Ask anyone of the oil companies, they will tell you, this is how much they are paying. How much they are paying every single month. Right. So where is the money going? You are there running around mad, arresting people, protecting your government. The government that is stealing your own money that you are entitled to. This is your own money. It's not anybody else's money. It's your money, and it's being stolen. So that is off the bat. This is not even stealing from the people of South Sudan. It's stealing from the national security themselves, the foot soldiers, who they see only as tools for them to enrich themselves, tools for them to suppress the people of South Sudan. Let that sink in. Okay, that is Petroleum Division. Now let's come to the Economic Intelligence Division. It sounds fancy, as if they are collecting some kind of intelligence on the economy and thinking about ways to improve the economy. No, they are not. Basically, the way it works is this. Just this, what they have done with the hotels, by the way, and the hotels, people that are stationed in the hotels, they come from what is called as Protection Division. These are the guys that have sent people in the hotels that stay there. They're spying on you, the hotel manager and workers. They're spying on your guests, everyone that is coming there. They're spying on, and you are the one accommodating them, and you are the one feeding them, which is entirely illegal. There is no law that allows the national security to do that. That is Protection Division. The same thing they do with the hotel, they do it also with the banks, Forex Bureau, and any other business in Juba, any major business. Any major business in Juba, there is a national security that is stationed there, starting with the central bank. There is a national security officer from the Economic Intelligence Division that must be based in your office with access to all your books to see what it is that you are doing. Right? These people, they report to the chief of the Economic Intelligence Division. I think right now, I'm not sure who is the latest guy there. I think it was some Zande guy called John Daniel. I don't know who is the current Major General there. But this was a guy that, at least when I remember, this was the guy that was in charge. Now, if you're a bank, the Economics Intelligence Division is there. And you remember, I talked last week about the currency, how the dollars were being siphoned off, how the letters of credit was being used as a corruption for some individual to enrich themselves. So that is exactly what is happening. These people, they are supposed to be there to ensure that the banks are not manipulating their books. But what do they actually do when they are there? When they're actually there, they collude with the banks and the Forex Bureau to then corrupt whatever little resource that goes there, and they make sure that the citizens of South Sudan get nothing. Take, for example, what happened with the dollars. Every month, there is an auctioning of dollars that is done by the central bank. I think it used to be 5 million every week or something like that, $5 million. So what would happen is banks will go and compete. This money will be allocated to different banks and Forex Bureau. And then inside, the Forex Bureau are supposed to sell this at a certain rate to make sure that the people of South Sudan have access to foreign exchange to buy necessary commodities from outside of the country. So let's say a certain bank has got $1 million. This $1 million they're supposed to sell at a rate that central bank tells them, not their own rate that they imagine. But what would they come and do? Now the bank manager and the national security attaché, they will come and sit down. And then they will say, hey, my people, instead of us selling 1 million entirely in the market, we will sell 50,000. Okay? 50,000, like 5%. Sometime when they're lucky, it will go to maybe 10%, like 100,000 out of 1 million. They say we'll give this out to the market at the rate that the central bank is saying. The rest, which is the 90%, the bulk of it, black market. Where do you think the black market gets supplies? Why black market never run out of dollars? Huh? And then you find them running around in Juba beating those boys there and pretending to be arresting them. It's a game, complete game. So what they do, then now together, the bank manager and the national security attaché there, they will forge the receipts to claim that they have sold the 1 million to the market. You know? And then these receipts will be taken back to the central bank as an evidence that they have sold the entire amount to the market at this rate. And you wonder sometimes why those lines at the Forex Bureau, you remember the line at the Forex Bureau at the commercial bank are long, is because of that. Now, now they will get the profit of the money that is left, and this money will be divided between the bank and the national security. So the attaché at that bank or Forex Bureau will now take their part. This is their earning, their profit from as NSS, and report back to his boss, who is the director of the Economic Intelligence Division, who will then take a cut, and then the rest of the money will be brought to Akol. It's like is the big devil that is everything is brought to. Then now Akol will now go and give Salva Kiir his share. By the way, Salva Kiir must get a share. Doesn't matter. Whether it is the road contracts with the ball mill, he must get his share. Whether it is the Forex Bureau that is selling dollars, he must get his share. Whether it is the commercial bank, corrupting the dollars, he must get his share. Whether it's a dude, his own daughter, collecting taxes at the airport, at the borders, he must get his share. As I told you last time, he's like the big animal, the big lion that went hunting and who basically believed that everything that has been killed by everyone collectively belonged to him alone. That is his mindset. That is his mindset. So that is what happened. This is run by the Economic Intelligence Division, as other NSS people that are there. And by the way, if you are an officer that is stationed there, if you go and do your own things, you will get into trouble. So you can see the so-called national security that is supposed to provide security is the one that is actually enabling this corruption. The same Economic Intelligence Division is the one that is engaging in the mining of the gold, is the one that is providing Adut the infrastructure to actually mine the gold, And they have a share. They have a share in it. So the entire state, the entire economy of South Sudan is captured. Those hotels that you see coming up in Juba, most of them, they are owned by the national security, the Economic Intelligence Division. They create front companies. So they will go and create a company for export-import. They will go and create a company for whatever, just whatever, anything you think about. They will create a company. You think it's just a normal company. They will put some random name there, but there are a specific name that you always see there that are national security individuals. That's how the economy in South Sudan is run. And that is why this country will always be stuck in poverty unless we get rid of Salva Kiir. That is how the national security manipulates the market. This is what they do. And they do it with the blessing of the boss, because the boss is interested to see what is his share. What is share? What is he getting? So from the Petroleum Division, where each soldier is supposed to get $500 every single month, but they are getting only like $12 or like $15 a month. The rest of the money is being divided between certain general, but the bulk of it is coming to Salva Kiir himself, right? Akol will take his share, Salva Kiir take his share. The same thing with the currency manipulation at the both at the central bank, at the commercial bank, at the Forex Bureau. There are national security attaché there that are colluding with the bank to fake receipts and sell the bulk of the money in the black market. The profit is then shared between the bank and the national security. The money goes to the director of Economic Intelligence Division. He takes a bit of his share, take the rest to Akol. Koor take his share, and then Akol take the rest to Salva Kiir. The same thing with like all the other goods and products that are being engaged in the market. So everyone, including the national security officers themselves, they are being cheated. They are being used as tools to enrich a certain individual and his family. And what is sad about it, as I was telling you, President Kiir is not a poor man. He's being taken care of. Beside his own salary, because he's paid salary every single month. He has his salary. You never heard one single day saying that I will not accept my salary. He's taking a salary. On top of that, he has allowances. And by the way, you just check at the budget outturns of the Ministry of Finance. They are published online, by the way. You can go and check and see which department in the government is overspending. You will find that the most outrageous department when it comes to overspending is the presidency, Salva Kiir's office. Yeah? So he's getting that money. And then on top, every single month, ISB of Akol, the Internal Security Bureau of the National Security Service, is paying Salva Kiir $100,000 every single month. Just for his upkeep, is for his family upkeep. GIB, the General Intelligence Bureau, is paying Salva Kiir another $100,000 every month for his upkeep. And then the CID of the police is paying Salva Kiir $100,000 every month for his upkeep. And then the military intelligence is paying Salva Kiir another $100,000 every month for his upkeep. And the guy, the entire family, the guy, the wife, the kids, all of them, they're in the market squeezing everything. Adud is the one collecting taxes at the airport. He's the one collecting all the taxes entering the country. Yeah? Then the currency manipulation. Petroleum sector. Oil companies are paying $500 every single month to a single soldier. The soldier is getting $12. The rest of the money being divided between the National Security Generals and Salva Kiir. The Economic Intelligence Division is deploying people, central bank, commercial banks, Forex Bureau. They are manipulating the currency. They created all these companies that are importing things. They're not being taxed. They don't pay a single dime to the treasury. They make all this money divided between the generals and Salva Kiir. So everything, all the economic activities in the country end up in the mouth of Salva Kiir. That is it, my people. We cannot accept this as people of South Sudan. In a country like that, there is no prosperity. In a country like that, there is no progress. So, as I keep saying over and over again, Salva Kiir must be removed. He must be removed. It is the only way we can breathe new life into this government. It is the only way we can breathe new life into the Republic of South Sudan. It is the only way we can reclaim our freedom and our dignity. It is the only way we can get rid of this corruption that has destroyed the fabric of our society. So, my people, this is what is happening. So let me repeat, every single one of you, you have a role to play. If you are a soldier, you have your gun, you prepare yourself, and you must think, how do you use what you have to free South Sudan? If you are a journalist, you have your pen. You have to think about how you use your pen to free South Sudan. If you are a politician, you have to think about the platform you have. How do you use it to free South Sudan? If you are a Benjbit, those of Dengmalo, you have to think of how you use your platform to free South Sudan. If you are a nigger in the market with your machete in your pants, Think about what you can do to make sure you free South Sudan. Whoever you are, if you're a bishop and a religious man, think about how do you use what you have to free South Sudan? Because there is no way we can accept to continue the way we are. This kind of economic activity cannot work for the people of South Sudan. This is not what we fought for. This is not the reason why our people died in large numbers. We fought so that South Sudan could be free. And since Salva Kiir has turned himself to be oppressor, he must be removed by any means necessary. Any means necessary, he must be removed. He has refused to conduct an election for the entire time that he has been president. He's completely illegitimate president, was never elected by anyone. And right now he's only talking about doing sham elections so that he can legitimize himself in the eyes of the international community. This is unacceptable. So he has not organized any election. The national dialogue, which was organized by those of Malwala Madut, Bona Malwala Madut, and Francis Mading Deng. Yeah? These are people from Barghazal, if it was the issue of regionalism. They come up with a resolution that Salva Kiir must exit. He has refused. Dinka Council of Elders told him he should exit. He has refused. So this guy is refusing on our neck and is subjecting us to poverty, to violence, to disease, to suffering. We cannot accept to continue like this. Therefore, whatever you have, I cannot tell you, do it this way. It's up to you to think about the best way you can do this. So you, please, think of the ways in which you can liberate South Sudan. South Sudan must be free. And this is the year, 2024. This is the year we are getting rid of Salva Kiir. And it will be done by any means necessary. It has been wonderful to engage with you today. We will continue our series on Sunday. And on Sunday, we will talk about other things and our program continue. Please share the video, whether you are Matograp, whether you are a patriot, whether you are a psychopath, whether you are a looter or whatever. Please share this video and let's keep the conversation going. Let's make sure the people of South Sudan are informed and let's take actions to free this country. May God bless you. I see you on Sunday.